He was 3-1 down and he came back to win 4-3, so you would have to say, is it in the stars for Neil Robertson? He's got out of jail with 2 matches, really.
Yeah, you mentioned Hossan briefly there, the fight. I mean, you know, it's an interesting story, isn't it? He's from Iran, but I mean, his biggest struggle perhaps is getting visas to actually get to the tournaments to take part in them.
Yeah, well, he actually won his professional ticket 2 years before he actually got it. It took that long to get all the visa issues out of the way, but thankfully that's now been sorted, and he's now performing to his talent, which is he's a very, very good and astute player. OK, well, let's focus on our first semi-final this afternoon. You'll be very familiar with Stuart Bingham, but what about the man who he takes on, Joe O'Connor, from Leicester at 23 years of age, 103rd in the world. His highest break before yesterday was 113, but he smashed that yesterday, and he actually doubled his career earnings just by getting to this semi-final. He didn't look ruffled, did he, under the lights here, under pressure on this table. But how much different does it get when you get to the semi-final stage? Packed arena and all that focus on you. Well, look, he's very relaxed. I had a chat with him upstairs. We had a coffee just before he had his 10 minutes of practice, you know, and we were talking and we had a laugh about it. Less than a year ago, we were playing in the EBSA European Championships, and he says less than 12 months he's in a semi-final of a world ranking event. It's a great story for him. He can't quite believe it, can he? How much of a difference is that? How important is it they've had that practice time? They've just done that about 20 minutes ago. Well, it'll make him feel good that he's gone and knocked a couple of balls today, but he played a long match yesterday and he played extremely well. So, you know, the 15 minutes or the 10 minutes was just to get his arm going. OK, well, he's been no ordinary Joe this week. Let's find out a little bit more about Joe O'Connor. Seema Jaswal sat down with him for a chat. 180.
It's a bit surreal. It's been a bit of a dream week so far, and hope it continues.
Dreams do come true.
I'm just taking one match at a time, one frame at a time.
124.
You know, I know deep down that I've had the ability, or you know, the potential that you know, to do something.
What a finish from Joe O'Connor, and a big warm congratulations from John Higgins.
You know, I've been putting in a lot of hard work, and you know, finally it's coming through.
I saw earlier on after the match that you were with a nice entourage. You had a group of people around you. Who was with you today? My
dad is here with my brother and my granddad and his partner.
Do they play snooker? Any of them?
My brother Harry, he does. He plays for England at pool, so
okay.
He's not too bad at that.
Can you beat him at pool?
Well, yeah. No, yeah, he's. I think he would like to do my route, but you know, he hasn't got there yet. So.
What do you like to do as a switch off outside of snooker?
I've always enjoyed playing football.
Any position? Which position do you play?
At the back. But now only playing like sort of five-a-side, so it's a bit of everywhere. Yeah, that, and I do a bit of MMA. I've always been like sort of into that, and you know, it's good fitness and
totally different to snooker as well.
Yeah. A lot of people have said, you know, there's the dangers in it, but you know, there's risks in everything. So I just, you know, take it as it comes, really.
So I know many people have spoken to you about this, but the earnings that you'll get from this tournament, even at this stage, have you thought about what you're going to spend it on?
No. I've been told not to think about the money. No, yeah.
Is that Dad's advice?
Yeah. Dad said that. You know, don't think about the money because I think he's going to spend it for me. I think. No, yeah. I'm just concentrating on my game, and you know, the money comes after.
Well, it's the first ever meeting between these two men. Bingham 12th in the world, O'Connor 103rd. This is by some stretch the best performance of O'Connor's snooker career. He's knocked out 3 top 10 players this week: Kyron Wilson, Ding Junhui and John Higgins. Time to get the semi-finals underway, and a very good afternoon to our MC, Phil Seymour.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the ManbetX Welsh Open here at the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff. This is semi-final number 1. It's the best of 11 frames, and it's time now to welcome the players. We begin with the reigning English amateur champion, playing today in his first ever ranking event semi-final, Joe O'Connor. And his opponent, the reigning English Open champion, a winner here in 2017 and the 2015 champion of the world, Stuart Bingham. This is me.
They're ready for the semi-finals, the best of 11, so the first of 6 would take you into the final. Sit back and enjoy in the company of Willie Thorne and Terry Griffiths.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. What a baptism of fire this could be for this young boy from Leicester, Joe O'Connor. Done absolutely tremendous, has been said in the pre-match
Stuart Bingham
chats there. Beat 3 wonderful players to get to this semi-final, but once again, he's got to beat another top player should he want to get to his first major ranking final. Stuart Bingham has been in tremendous form this week. Joe O'Connor, as was mentioned, also had his highest break of his career in tournament play yesterday, a break of 1-3-1, and he did play Terry very, very well indeed in that match against John Higgins.
Yes, he's had some big results here. He must be really, really excited to come into this stage of the tournament now, semi-final. He beat John Higgins, of course. He beat Mark Allen. He beat Kyron Wilson, Jack Jones. I don't know, he beat a lot of good players.
Foul. The miss.
A little too slow there.
Bingham 4.
At the right angle.
You can clearly see the edge of the pack to come down the left-hand side, but he's a little bit worried about leaving the red that's in the balk end of the table. Obviously, if he played that safety shot and kissed either the yellow or brown on the way back, it would leave that red. That's why he's playing the roll-up of 2 cushions into the bunch. I think he'll get it very close this time. Obviously, new cloth, so the speed is probably slightly different to last night. That looks a better speed. He may have, I was going to say, he may have left one in the middle there, but I think that's just finished too close to that red to be able to pot the one in the middle. In Stuart Bingham's match yesterday, he played 4 frames on the trot, absolutely flawless. Never missed a ball, safety play was superb, but all of a sudden lost a couple of frames, and then seemed to disappear for a little while, but still managed to get over the line. Just a little bit of tactical play at the moment. Just this will help Joe O'Connor, to be honest, in the fact to help him settle, because he must be really nervous, Terry.
Well, it's not the type of safety game that the players want to play. You know, once you get in these problems, there's balls going up the table all over the place and just touching reds, and they may have a re-rack. You don't know now. Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, let's hope that's touching ball. That may get rid of the stalemate.
Touching ball, both reds.
Touching both reds. He'd ideally like to get in behind the green there and tight on the ball cushion. I don't think he can get the angle to play around 3 cushions to get there, so he's going to play in behind the black. If Stuart's taking this pot on in the middle, he's got to be careful. The cue ball will be going very near the blue. Just playing the safety. This was the key thing, to make sure he got the pace right to cover the red up, and he hasn't done. So Joe O'Connor's forced the opening.
Yeah, so it just caught that red a little bit too thick. Took a little bit of speed out of the cue ball. First chance then goes to Joe O'Connor.
One.
Oh, that was a nervous one, wasn't it? Look where the cue ball is. Should he have potted it?
He caught it too thick, didn't he? I think it's a little bit of nerves, I was saying, and you can expect that from the boy. He hasn't been at this stage in a ranking event before. Big crowd, one table, television, it's all there. But he played on the TV yesterday, and he played really well, did a lot of breaks, and looked very confident. But that was yesterday.
Well, the stalemate was ended a few moments ago. It's back on again now. Whenever a red goes into baulk, this always happens. But it'll settle both players. I know it's a little bit pedestrian for people watching, but you can imagine this is the biggest day of this young man's career. Oh, that, has he left a pot on? It must be close. I think he has. That was a poor shot from Joe. He won't be very pleased with that one.
Seven. Excuse me. Thank you. Eight.
I expected Joe to be a little nervous, but Stuart Bingham has not settled very well, has he? He's played A couple of poor shots there, positional-wise. So even the great players who've been there many, many times before get a little bit of nerves. Looks like he's going to take the brown on. Probably go into the bunch and play with a little bit of right-hand side. Oh, that's unlucky. Unlucky. He still has the red in the middle, though, but no colour.
12.
If the red pots, he'll play the pot this and screw back, leave the white tight on the cushion, and then play the snooker from the black. That's what he's tried to do.
Stuart Bingham, 12.
If this is touching ball, which it isn't, he could have just gone off the side cushion into the black and left him snooker, but it's not touching. He'll still try and get in behind the black. Or try and hit the black, that is, and stay behind the pink. Pink, no problem, but the pace he's going to have to play it. Should he want to get on a red is a problem. That's why he's just trying to dolly it in and have to play a safety shot. Unless there's a plant on in the middle.
7.
Can be made, that plant, actually. It's set for the left-hand jaw, but it can be made, this. So you hit it on the left-hand side, screw back for the pink. This will go very close. Very good shot. Very good shot. That wasn't on that plan. You have to make it. It's amazing. Whenever the balls are touching, it obviously makes the contact heavier, and that's why he's overscrewed that by a foot. But a good pot.
Stuart Bingham, 8.
That was a bit of a shocker. Okay, it wasn't straightforward, but he thought that 9 out of 10, I should think. So the chance has gone to Joe Connor now. Rounds up the mark area, quite a lot of them as a matter of fact. That's what happens when they have these safety bouts early on, just rolling balls up and down the table.
Yes, it looks pretty straightforward now, doesn't it, to get 6 reds and 6 colours from those baulk colours, the reds in the baulk area, but this is not the position you put practice balls in. So, but this will really settle Joe now. He's got a lot of easy shots to play one after another. And that hopefully will settle him down.
5. Six. 11. 12. 16. 17. 21.
'Well, nobody in the audience saw that one coming.
Connor, 21.
Now the tables have been recovered overnight, as always when it comes to the semi-final stage. And the pockets, in fairness, have been very generous. I just wonder whether they've tightened them up a little bit for this.
Yes, they've changed the cushions as well, because the cushions were already covered, you see, and when the fitter says they may be a little bit more tighter now. So then they they don't recover them overnight. They got a set of cushions ready to change, and of course the cloth has been changed, so that will be table should play better.
Six. 7.
These 3 reds around the pink spot, the bottom one of the 3 pots by the pink, when the pink goes back onto its own spot. Yeah. What I was going to suggest, he could play the cannon into 3 reds if he wanted to, if they weren't available. But he knows that red is available, that's why he's just played for the pink. So the one on the left of the 3 will pot in the same pocket as the pink, that's what he'll be playing for. Well, you'd think Stuart would have settled very early, wouldn't he? But he certainly hasn't settled at the minute.
18.
Getting into the cue ball. A lot too much there.
Good recovery there. Very missable, that type of shot. Not perfect now in the colours. Got a few options, but no, none of them are straightforward. Taking the green on. Played that well. Had to lift the butt up at the end of the cue just to get to the bottom of the cue ball there to get the stun on. Looks perfect.
.23.
Couldn't run the red through to play for the blue in the middle because he would have finished straight on the blue, so purposely playing for the blue into the corner. Oh dear. Oh, goodness me, I thought he'd missed that. That was a nervy shot.
Right in the middle of the pocket it was.
That was a little bit of a twitch, I'll tell you what that was. But it went in. So he's 30 points in front, frame ball. It hasn't been pretty, but that won't worry Stuart Bingham.
Stuart Bingham, 29.
Didn't fancy the 7 points. I enjoy snooker, but it requires one snooker. That was unlucky. Good attempt.
Stuart Bingham, 4.
So I was thinking that Stuart should have dropped the black in and got 7 points, but as it turned out, he's in a better position now. John now needs 3 snookers to be able to win, and all the colours.
Foul.
Well, the concession comes, so Stuart Bingham's very scrappy opening frame, but he'll be delighted to have got the first frame on the board, and he now leads by that 1 frame.
So there we go, first blood to Stuart Bingham. Welcome to our studio this Saturday afternoon. Darren Morgan, I mean, yeah, it's not a cracking start to it, a really slow start to it, but Bingham taking it. And the fact it started quite slowly, as they were saying in commentary, does that help the players just to ease the nerves, settle into it a little bit on you know, the sense of occasion and everything?
Well, obviously, as you start off, you know, there's butterflies, and Joe Connor would have more butterflies than Stuart Bingham, obviously, because it's his first semi-final is a big occasion for him, but it would have settled both players down. But then what comes with that, the balls tend to go scrappy, you know, the pink off the spot, the black off the spot, so they're having to play a lot of unorthodox shots. But Stuart Bingham had a little run towards the middle of that frame, and it was enough to get him over the line.
23 minutes, that opening frame. Maybe a few nerves creeping in for O'Connor with this shot, this miss along the cushion.
Yeah, well, they're never easy. He will have expected to have got this, mind, in all fairness. He could have played the easier one, the outside red. So he would have been confident in playing that red. But first frame, like we said, you know, the butterflies flying about in there. And, you know, so all of a sudden some shots, even the easy ones, become very difficult.
Can't blame him, I guess, because given what he's done so far in this tournament, how far he's gone, and the players that he's beaten, you know, Ding and Kyron Wilson and John Higgins yesterday, his confidence is huge.
It is, and he's never played any of them before. And I asked him if he'd played Stuart before as well, and he said no. So is this going to be an omen for him, you know, 4 out of 4, or is he going to stay at the 3? But I do feel for him to have any chance in this semi-final, he's really got to get out to the blocks now. He's got to get a frame on the board, at least in the next couple. I mean, he doesn't want to be going like 3-0 behind. He needs to be on the coattails of Stuart Bingham to have any chance.
Best of 6, though, at this stage, which changes the dynamic a little bit.
It does change the dynamic, but...
First to 6, I should say.
But Stuart Bingham will be more pleased with that, probably, than Joe O'Connor. You know, the longer matches, the better players normally feel more comfortable, and they think they got a better shake of the dice. But he really needs to get off the board quickly.
Yes, it is the first to 6, of course. Best of 11 at the semi-final stage. So, Stuart Bingham,
thank you.
our champion. Remember 2 years ago with the 1-0 lead so far.
Yes, I understand what Darren was saying there, but I mean, it's only one frame, and you'd expect the boy to be nervous. But so was Stuart Bingham in that frame. He won it, but he missed quite a few chances that he'd normally be taking. Different time now, semi-final. Lots of people in here. Another grandstand on the left-hand side as we look for it. It's getting close to getting a trophy. I didn't hit that too hard, really. I didn't hit it straight on. It did about 3/4 ball.
Touching ball.
I wonder if these cloths have changed slightly, you know. When the new cloths, you know, they're more lively, and if you put in touch a side on over distance, it tends to push the ball. You know, and it's they'll get used to it. Sure, we're going to have plenty of good stuff in this first semi-final.
1. Six. Seven.
Didn't quite get into the cue ball as he would like. He would like to stay at the top side of the blue, but can just roll it in and leave the long red, or if he wants to, play in and out of balk. Obviously, the fact that we've mentioned the new cloth a few times, sometimes when you're going out of balk, when you're not quite used to the speed and the throw of the balls, you could kiss a balk colour. Oh, goodness me, hit that fantastic. What a great shot that is. Really got into that. It's amazing how
12.
Players normally would just play check side through the green and brown and back through the green and brown, but look at the amount of running side he played on that. Excellent shot.
$13.
Doesn't have a great angle on the blue. He Just kiss the one red that's loose to the side of the pack there, just to slow the cue ball down, knowing that he's got a couple of reds available. Decided to play for the one on the black spot. Oh, goodness me, he's not settled at all, has he? He's not settled at all.
Joe O'Connor, 13.
Oh, can you believe it? These two players have played fantastic snooker all week. You can expect the occasion to get to young Joe O'Connor, but not Mr. Bingham. One. Let's just see these shotty players on the black. Earlier in the week, as we mentioned, the pockets were very big. Let's just see if this catches the jaw and goes in or not. Oh, not even touched the jaw, so black spot covered, pink spot covered, so on the blue.
8.
They weren't very big, really. They were just going off the corner a bit. When it's slow, they were still coming out if they weren't accurate.
9.
They were massive.
$16.
The angler he has on the red, he can't hold for the black, so for baulk colour, and the only colour that's really available is the yellow, because the green and brown are covering one another as far as potting into the corner. That's why he's played around the other side to give an option of all three baulk colours. Anywhere but there.
20.
The only good thing about that, he'll be kissing into the red and staying on the black should he pot it. He's got to be a little bit careful the red he's hitting into doesn't cover the black. Played it nicely.
21.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward them looking in, you know. It's a blind pocket, he's looking the opposite way from the pocket. Nice touch. Oh, just overdone that a little bit. I'd like the red to have been an inch or two nearer the cushion this time. But
28.
You can still pot it. Position's not going to be straightforward.
$29.
Nothing available in the bunch, so going to have to play 2 cushions into the bunch. There's a big gap, isn't there? Those 2 beds that are to the right of the pack there. If you can get through that gap and hit the centre of the bunch. Must have some new shoes on. He seems to be slipping on the carpet there when reaching over for that. Mind you, they're not new. Goodness me, he's really struggling at the minute.
Stuart Bingham, 29.
Well, at least he didn't leave one on. It doesn't look like anyway, but the pink was his problem then. It was underneath his arm and body, and he was stretching with it. Yeah, missed it by a while. Phew. Sometimes the balls don't work for you, and especially when you've missed a few, it seems that, you know, the opponent leaves you on shots that you don't fancy so much. Little warm up.
What good judges they are. Holds his hand up knowing he completely missed the safety shot there, and has got away with it. It's a very unusual start. We expected it to be a little bit tactical as far as Joe was concerned, just to settle in, but neither players are settled at the moment. Well, that was an excellent pot. Little unlucky not to have finished on a colour there. Just flicked the red when playing up into baulk. And if it had been an inch further off the cushion, it would have attempted the blue, but he can't attempt it from there. Decided to try and push the boat out a little bit there, and that's what he did do. I mean, that yellow was tough in practice. He was probably getting a little bit frustrated knowing that Stuart's not playing well, and just try to push the boat out a little bit there. That could cost him the frame, that shot.
One. Eight. Stuart Bingham, 8.
Every pot that's been missed has been missed thick. Now, as we mentioned many times, this is a new cloth. Now, whether it's a little bit damp or something and it's pushing in, I'm not sure, but he's as bemused as we are. He's sitting in the commentary box. Now, if anything was going to give Joe O'Connor confidence, surely it was that last shot.
1. Eight. Nine.
It's going to be tough to win the frame from here because obviously he needs up to the brown, even if he takes 3 reds and 3 blacks. But the key thing is to get back in the frame, get a sizable lead going into the baulk colours, and hopefully that'll calm his nerves a little. It's a shame. He'd like to have played the one down the cushion. If it had kissed the yellow, he would have done, but it can't obviously now.
16. $17. $24.
Not quite sure if you can pot this red and get on the black without side spin. You do. Yeah, it could be okay. Now then he's a nice angle to get on that
25.
last red. I'm not quite sure if that's a bit of power. You could stand off the bottom cushion, get onto that red. As usual, make sure you pot the black.
Yes, he just had a look to see if he couldn't get where Terry suggested. He can leave the cue ball near where his hand is now, or some nearer the cushion, and then play the snooker. He's running around 2 cushions to try and get onto the red. Hasn't got there. So this will be stunning behind the pink, red round the angles, red somewhere near the green. Hopefully he'll have Stuart bang in trouble. 9 points in front.
Didn't intend to pot that red. Still he's got the black. He's not going to have a bit of a job to get on the yellow, obviously, but he's 10 points in front.
Joe O'Connor, 33.
There was no reward there for him apart from the points, you know. That just makes it a bit of a dodgy shot. And if he could have got on the yellow there, I bet he would have potted the black. Trying to get behind the blue, but slight misjudgment. Not going to be easy for Stuart Bingham with the balls out to get in and clear the balls up. You can see they're all off their spots.
Oh, great pot, but as you can see, he's snookered himself on the green. Played with lots of check side there, trying to hold the cue ball. A little bit of the green sticking out.
Joe O'Connor, 2.
O'Connor needs 2 balls. Stuart now needs the lot. So a strong favourite, Joe, to win this frame.
I'm not sure if you can see this green to cut it in the middle. Looks a very fine cut anyway. Well, you can see it. It takes him 15 in front, so
3.
If he pots the brown, Stuart Bingham will require 1 snooker. Strangely, he's bought some really tough pots and then missed the easy ones. Oh, well, that wasn't easy.
Joe O'Connor, 3.
You know, it's not. It's the winning ball he's feeling. Get safe, 19 in front he would have been. Just cut it a little thin this time. Now then, has he got an angle here? Well, he did have an angle. And he did try and bring the blue out, but didn't quite hit it right. He's struggling at the moment, Stuart. Big applause from the crowd there. He's 19 points in front, 18 on the table, but no, that would have been handy for him because the black and pink, if Stuart Bingham could get behind those, they're going to be a difficult snooker to escape from when they're right on the cushion like that. what's happening there. I mean, I know he tried to get behind the black and snuck at him, but hit it much too hard.
Five.
No, and Joe will be delighted. He struggled as well with his first 2 frames. Stuart's
Joe O'Connor 5.
trying to get a few snookers. Difference, of course, when you're on the pink. You get 6 points if you snooker somebody and he misses. There's only 2 snookers needed, but there's a good chance that this pink will go in. I can't believe that. He had to roll that pink on the pocket then. It's the only thing he could do. So Stuart couldn't have snookered him from there. There you are. We're all different. This second frame just coming up to 25 minutes. It's not that they're slow, it's just they weren't taking their chances so far. It's a big ask to get a snooker from there. You'd have to cut the pink very thin and go off 2 cushions to get the black. You may even pot it by mistake then. And the ball keep going on for Joe in that pocket. It is the brown, which he wanted to earlier on. Now the pink.
Yes, I bet people at home thinking what's going on, but this is a tough game they're playing, but obviously it's just a bit of nerves at the minute, and the table is obviously playing completely different to what it was yesterday. I mean, we saw there the white skidded then when it hit the cushion. I mean, every stat is very, very low for all players at the minute. The pot success is low, the safety is low, but obviously it's at the minute. I can only put it down, obviously, of nerves, but the table is playing so much different. It's playing so much different, the table, than it did yesterday.
Just a few inches short. If you'd have tucked it behind that black tail, it would have been difficult to hit it. That's good. That's the way you should be doing it all the time, putting the pink in near enough to the pockets, even if they don't go in. That's a good attempt. Stuart Bingham pocket mistake. Pocket by mistake. He tried to play a snooker, but that wasn't a great game. But it's a great frame for Joe O'Connor, because now he's one frame each.
Well, put your hand up if you fancy winning that frame of snooker, because neither of those two seemed to want to, did they? We were logging all of the kind of the bad shots that we saw. That we were running out of paper. I mean, it's bizarre, incredible, wasn't it? How poor that was.
Yeah, it was a bit of a twitchy frame, to say the least. It looked at 1 minute that Joe O'Connor was going to win it with his visit, and then when Stuart Bingham got in and missed that red above the black, you know, it was, for his standards, it was an extremely poor shot, and it looked like then Joe was going to take it again, and it's been two in and throw in, back and forth, very scrappy frame. But Joe O'Connor now, he'd be so relieved, you know. It doesn't matter how he's won the frame, whether he's won it ugly or not, that frame's on his board. And they've both gone out of the arena, maybe just to take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror and kind of wipe the slate clean and start afresh, start again in frame 3. Yeah, well, you can't play well. At the end of the day, they're human beings. You can't play well all the time. You're going to miss balls, you know. It's just one of them things. But the way the pair of them have played up to this semi-final, unusual couple of frames, these first two. You always look at the key stats, don't you, as an indicator as to how well they are playing, and the pot success, as I think Willie touched on, 78% for Bingham, just 74% for O'Connor. Yeah, and obviously when players are playing well now, they look for pot successes in the 90%, so that is a long way down, really. But you know, there's a long way to go in this match. It's the first couple of frames out the way. Both players now will have settled. Willie's alluded in it. He thinks the table's playing different because of a new cloth. But are you buying that? No, I'm not buying that. You know, it might be slightly different, but it won't be that different for the performance the pair of them are putting in at the moment. They had 10 minutes each before the match started, so they knew exactly how the table was. Yeah. I just think it's nerves. There's nerves and butterflies there, and it's a big match. It's an important match. Well, even for a player of Bingham's calibre, he would still be getting nerves. You know, a former world champion. Yeah, well, he will, because he's under a different kind of pressure to Joe O'Connor. Everybody expects him to beat Joe O'Connor. He's been there. He's done it all. Joe O'Connor, this is his first time. He's got nothing to lose. He should just let his arm play freely and just enjoy the experience. We've talked about this during the week, haven't we, when you come up against players that you were expected to beat. There's more pressure than if you're playing another really top seed. Yeah, there is. But obviously, you know, different players carry different pressures. You know, pressure is only what you put on yourself. You know, no one else can put any pressure on you other than what you allow to be put on yourself. So it's a big match for both players, but for different reasons. It's almost like a mini interval at the moment, isn't it? They've been out for quite some time. I think Bingham is on his way back in. O'Connor, you touched on earlier about young stars coming through and, you know, trying to find new stars of the future. I mean, O'Connor, he's only 23, but he looks younger, doesn't he? He looks like he could be your lad. And you think, well, my lad could do what he's doing maybe one day if he only practices hard, and he could be there one day. Yeah, he does, but he's got a lot of experience behind him, funny enough, because when we were having that coffee before we started, he said he's actually played 2 years on the pro tour, but not as a pro, as a top-up through Q School, because he got close to getting on, but he didn't quite make it. So he said, I have had 2 years playing in all the arenas and everything, not to this stage, but he said, so I am used to it a little bit, and I have been around a little bit, so it's keeping him in good stead. We're just keeping Stuart Bingham waiting for a little while before he breaks off in frame 3. But, yeah, it wasn't the best, was it? But still a long way to go. Still time for these players to bring their A games to the table.
Yes, I'm sure we'd all like to see their A games at the moment. We haven't seen it, but frame 3 underway. Best of 11 now. It was started best of 7, then we had best of 9s in the quarter-final. We've got best of 11s in the semi-final, and best of 17 in the final. So the length of matches gets bigger and bigger each match now.
Wow. He missed that by a long way. He's sitting in his chair now. Hope the Stuart Bingham doesn't do much. I think it's worth going for it. I was a little bit unlucky that the red kissed and left it on there. Yeah. Like going home when you're drunk and you go in the wrong door.
Well, you can count on one hand the number of black Stuart's missed in this tournament. He's missed more easy balls in this match than he has the rest of the tournament so far. But obviously played the shot beautifully. Obviously, the only problem is he didn't pot the black. He split them absolutely in a perfect position for a frame-winning break. And now he's a little mumble to himself, knowing that we'll be talking about him in commentary. It's hard to say anything good at the moment. Oh, Joe, what a chance this is to take a 2-1 lead. As you can see, things just not going in the right position for both players. They keep leaving themselves awkward. The balls were perfect a second ago. This is a tough pot. There's a little bit of tape he's got where he wants to hold it. Normally, obviously, he's queuing over a ball, so he's holding it further up the queue this time. That's a good recovery because that was tough. Needs that wide to travel. End of break.
9.
And if you can get tight behind that yellow, it'll be difficult for Stuart Bingham. As the red is set on the bottom here, to hit a red and get safe.
Joe O'Connor 9.
When you can't see the red by the middle pocket, surely.
I think he can, Terry. That was a very poor shot, wasn't it? Because he'll take the pot on here and screw back into baulk.
Missed the trick there, Joe. Hello. It's Stuart Bingham and he's back. He did too well now.
Well, if this was early on in the week, if he takes his brown or green on, I'd have said it'd be a certainty. But you can see now he's not confident at all, just playing the roll up behind the green. Don't blame him at the minute until he gets some sort of rhythm going.
Stuart Bingham 1.
So now the shoe's on the other foot now, I'm afraid. Joe is snookered. There's no reds, what we say, on the black cushion down here to roll on to. He's going for the one to the extreme left by the look of it and just catch it half ball or something like that. Not quite.
Foul.
Wasn't far away.
Stuart Bingham 4.
It's the right shot to play. You'd rather play that shot a few times than leave Stuart Bingham right in the balls.
Yes, it's one of those, if he gets the shot right, there'll be no pot on for Stuart, so he'll have another go at this one. As long as you don't hit it full ball. That's rather than err on the thin side as he did on this first attempt.
Foul. And a miss. Stuart Bingham full. Yeah?
As we already discussed, it's very easy to hit this red, but must hit it thin. These 4-point penalties are no problem at this stage. You don't mind giving 16 points away as long as you don't hit it full ball and leave them stuck in.
Okay. Stuart.
So thin again, that's what he's trying to do. I think sometimes you alter your position so much you end up hitting it full ball. Like that.
I don't know what's on for Stuart. It doesn't look much from here. There's one red up the top there, to the left of the blue, that you could play. So it's not a disaster for Joe. That's pretty good.
One.
Good pace then for the blue. And we keep thinking here in the commentary, well, you know, this type of chance, we should be winning from here, but it's not happening yet. Let's go into it at one time. Both players will surely play
6.
and get better, get some form out. You know what he's doing there? He's a little bit unsure by the look of it. He's got the right angle. He can screw back for the black, surely. No, he hasn't liked the blacks in this pocket. Not a bad angle there, will he?
Yeah, great angle, but nothing pots in the right-hand corner, does it? So may have to play some sort of cannon to bring a red into play, because nothing pots in the right-hand corner. That's why he's played a little cannon to hold for the reds in the middle.
$14. $15.
You see Stuart now taking extra care, just trying to force himself into
21.
playing well. He knows he's had a million chances in the opening 2 frames. He'd be pretty pleased to be 1-all the way he's played.
22.
It has been a strange start, especially from Stuart. I expected him to go all guns blazing, but obviously the occasion got to him in the opening 2 frames. Looks like he's settled a little bit now.
28. $29.
Well, the top cushion is definitely playing slower than yesterday,
36.
because he played for the red at the bottom of the 3 into the corner. That back cushion, with them being new cushions, is definitely more sluggish than yesterday. That's what you've got to adapt, though, and as yet he's not.
$37.
Probably screw around 2 cushions now to finish somewhere near the red on the right hand side, just to leave that red into the corner. Or at the bottom of the 2 reds. Now as a cushion this time. Still a little bit slow, but he's okay.
42. 43.
No problem putting those two reds together because it's quite easy to move that red away now. Just blow the cannon into the right-hand red of the two. Bound to be on red in the middle or red in the corner. .51 points in front, 59 on, so this is frame ball.
50. .51.
See, even that's not bounced off the cushion as they have been doing on in the week. Definitely playing slower off the cushions, this table.
.57.
Normally we'd be saying this is a great chance for a century, but he's not playing well enough at the moment, but he's starting to get into the groove.
.64. .65. .72. .73.
Well, this will definitely calm him down
80.
because this break has been superb. This is more like what we expected from both these two players today.
82.
This could and should be century number 395 of his career, and the 36th this season.
89.
He's already made 6 centuries
94.
in the tournament so far. This will be his 7th. Well, the way he's played in the first 2 frames, you wouldn't have expected a century, but that's the class of Stuart Bingham. A beautiful break of 107, that'll calm the nerves. Joe O'Connor now knows that Stuart's in form. He has to improve the young man. It's 2-1 to Stuart Bingham.
Winner, of course, just 2 years ago. The Stuart stats there, and just to update the centuries in terms of this week, that was his 7th that we've just seen of this week of the 2019 tournament, and that generally was more like the Bingham that we have seen up to today. Previously, he'd been playing some excellent stuff, not necessarily in the frame before this, but that was more like it.
Well, the first 2 frames obviously were quite poor by their standards, and Obviously, Stuart missed a real easy black at the start of that frame and smashed the reds everywhere. And unfortunately, Joe O'Connor only made 8 from it and played a terrible safety, which allowed Stuart to snooker him and get the opportunity that I think we're just about to see now. And this red under normal circumstances, you'd say it's a relatively easy pot to get, but after the balls that had been missed, he's played this to absolute perfection to put, not only pot the red, but get the cue ball to stop right side of the blue, and obviously he's cleared up from there.
Because you might have thought, given the way the previous frame had gone and the misses, that I was thinking the nerves are going in. Am I going to actually get this in? Am I going to miss this?
Well, he's made Joe O'Connor there sit in his chair for a full frame there, knowing that they could have all been his, because Willie said in commentary this now could be a frame-winning chance for Joe O'Connor to go 2-1 up. He made 8 with the balls absolutely everywhere. You know, he'll be mad with himself. He's missed a trick there.
Big frame then coming out before the mid-session interval, and Bingham leading O'Connor 2-1. O'Connor to break.
I just hope he settles down. Joe hasn't settled yet. I mean, we all want to see a good match. And I'm sure he could give Stuart Bingham a match if he's played like he has this week here in the Welsh Open. Poor break off, I'm afraid.
One.
Stuart's one of these players that once he gets on a run, I mean, he can score big for frame after frame, but whether he could wait today, I don't know. We'll soon find out. Is he on this red here?
4.
Just about.
So he's angle on the red to get down for the black if he wants now, and that should give him an opportunity to go into the bunch. He'll have to play into the 2 reds directly above the black here, and doesn't have to hit it massively hard because he'll bring some reds into play, knowing that he's bound to be on the one that's loose. So he could do with it in the right hand one of the 2 reds here, or it in the joint of them. Oh, he's just purposely played low on it, which I find a little strange. The only reason I'm going to say that is because he's going to have to play the same shot next time. Decided to go up for the blue and under hit it.
13.
That's what happens when you don't get position. You try and push the boat out. Took his eye off the blue, slashed at it. A lot of shouts of "Come on, Joe!" A lot of people have come up from Leicester today. Spoke to his father a little early on. He's so excited to see his son in the latter stages of a major tournament. My club was closed before this young man started playing. We've had a production line of players that played at my club over the years. This young man has played elsewhere because my club was closed. But following the likes of, oh dear, I was going to say following the likes of Selby, Ben Wollaston, Tom Ford, Sarah Stigir, Eddie Manning, Stefan Mazarosis. He's just not settled, as you can see.
You were the best player there, Willie. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, I was pleased to have the other players from all around the world coming to play at my club. Neil Robertson spent a year there. All the South African players, when they were there years ago, used to come and play at my club. So we had hundreds of pros play there. Now Stuart Bingham knows that Joe O'Connor is not settled, and this will hurt Joe now if he makes a frame-winning break from here.
6.
Cloth doesn't quite seem as fast, the ball's running along the cloth as it did earlier in the weeks. But, wow. Another miss you wouldn't have
Stuart Bingham,
expected.
6.
Need a bit more pace so the white come nearer that red. It's cutting into a blind pocket, but you would have expected to pot it, obviously.
Yes, you've never seen pot success rate so low in the semi-final for quite some time. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. I know Darren mentioned they've had a bit of practice, so they should know the strength of the table or the speed of the table, but it's a completely different table to yesterday. It's coming slower off the cushions, it's pushing in when you're playing with side. They'll get used to it. Be interesting to see the pace this white comes off the cushion if he plays the stun around the back of the red for the red in the same pocket. And that came off all right, didn't it?
Eight. Nine.
Right, the deep screw into the bunch. Hit that one a little better, but nothing easy. There's one into the yellow pocket. First time we've seen that kind of reaction off a screw shot.
16.
This red goes in. Could and should be a frame winner.
$31. $32.
This puts him 58 in front, so needs one more red and colour after this black. I was taking the blue to leave better position on choice of two reds into the opposite corner. Just giving referee Paul Collar a little bit of work to do here. The pink's covering the blue spot, all of the spots are covered. So nearer to his own spot in a direct line. Blue and pink should both still be available because it's not supposed to be touching.
$37.
The spider's not great. I tell you something, a good chance she's going to foul here. She's very close to the blue. Fair play.
38.
Well, if people have only started watching frames 3 and 4, they'll be thinking Stuart Bingham's playing great because he's got every chance now making back-to-back centuries.
45. $46. 53.
Any chance of a century? He's going to have to play for the blue or pink off this red. Good recovery. Over around the cue ball.
54.
I suppose if you can see the brown, he can get somewhere near the middle right-hand corner pocket, which would leave the 2 reds available into the left-hand corner. So it's definitely frame over, definitely 3-1. It's just a case of whether he can make the century. This has done is give Joe O'Connor a lot of time to think about what could have been. Good pot. The bottom red will still pot. The key thing is with this match now, I mean, the fact that Stuart Bingham's 3-1 in front, Joe O'Connor will go to the interval thinking, well, I should be 3-1 in front myself, the chances I've had. That's what'll hurt. Needs his father to have a little chat with him and calm him down and say, look, you know, just try and get back in the match slowly. Don't push anything. The century's still on.
59.
You wouldn't have believed after the first 2 frames that either player could
66.
make back-to-back centuries, but that's the equation now with Stuart.
67.
Overthrew that by the proverbial mile. And that's a better shot.
73. 75. 78.
Stuart getting very close to the 400 career centuries. Could well do it this tournament should he go on to win it. This will be 396 should he go on to win this match and have another chance in the final to make a few more. It was very pedestrian
87.
in the first 2 frames. You wouldn't think this was the same match, would you? A brilliant 107 in the previous frame.
93.
And a very good 100 in the second frame. So Stuart Bingham somehow has found his form just at the right time. He goes into interval leading 3-0, 3-1. Joe O'Connor was very disappointed with the first 4 frames.
Yes, there we go then, another century, second of the match for Bingham, his 8th of the week, and as Willie was saying, he moves on to 396 career centuries. That was That was good stuff. That was top draw, Stuart Bingham. We're getting there.
Well, as Willie said, you know, it's completely opposite match. I think, you know, the first two frames was very scrappy, both missing all over the shop, and then Stuart Bingham's had 2 chances in the last 2 frames, and he's made 2 tons. So he's found his game, and he would have been worried the way the first couple of frames went, but he's settled right in now.
Joe O'Connor could be 2 frames in front himself, couldn't he? The chances he's had. Would you advise him to pop up here, perhaps? Have a bit of a knock during the break, or what would you do?
Well, he hasn't potted a ball for quite a while.
About
so
25 minutes, I think,
yeah,
at the
so,
end there.
you know, it might be a good thing for him to come and knock a couple of balls in. He might just sit in the players' lounge, have a cup of tea, speak to his dad, get his... He knows his game is all there. It just hasn't quite gone to plan yet, but he has missed some balls that, you know, he wouldn't have dreamed that he was capable of missing.
OK, well, about 15 minutes or so to think things over for those 2 players before they resume after the interval. In the meantime, let's show you a 147, or 2 147s, in fact, we've had this week. They're quite rare still in snooker, aren't they, those maximums? But we've been lucky enough to have had 2 this week, Neil Robertson and Nopon Sangkam, and they both came on our TV table. So let's just show you what, for any snooker player, still remains a very special moment.
Could screw around the back, of course, to play for the blue.
1.
Oh, held it too much. Didn't think he could hold it for the black. Good pot. Lost the white slightly. What's this red? It'll be in prime position.
It never really kind of looked on until maybe I was on about 64 or something like that, and then once I split the reds open from a red, it was about sort of like holding myself together, really. I've been there and done it hundreds of times before in practice, but obviously out there in the arena, you know, on TV is a different thing altogether.
65.
Very well played. Just pots this colour. Not only will he win the frame, he's got every chance of making this entry. And a big one at that if he gets... like to finish straight on this red so he can get onto the black. As you can see, it's 9 reds, 9 blacks. I made sure the
73
to pot the red, and obviously the black's still available. It's perfect angle to anywhere near where the cue ball is now. He'd like to finish again. Very well played. We have a chance here. We have a chance. 147.
80. $81.
He's already made 3 147s in his career. This is an excellent chance of number 4.
$88. $89.
Goes without saying the
96.
red to the right hand side is going to be slightly more difficult with him being left handed.
$97.
That's the century. He'd like to get the other red first, but he's not quite on it.
104.
Now it's key here to leave a half ball black.
105.
Now does he play to go around the back of it, or does he play to get onto into the middle? To make sure he's got a good angle on the black, it's probably best to go around the back of it and try and leave it into this top corner. It's easy to get onto it in the middle, but you're not sure to get a good angle to get back on the black. That's why he's played around the back of it, and that's a brilliant shot. Well played.
112.
Doesn't have the perfect angle on this red, but get that white away from the cushion should you pot it to give yourself every chance. Well done.
Thank you.
Perfect.
113. $120.
Just the slight wrong angle on this yellow, and the brown's in the way just to run through. He may have to play for the green in the middle, just screw across the face of the green. No, took a risk here and played it perfectly. Well done.
$125.
This break has been absolutely flawless.
$129. $134.
Beautifully played.
140.
Beautifully played. Well done, Neil Robertson. That's fantastic. His fourth maximum in competitive play. The handshake from Jordan Brown. A sparse crowd here this evening as it's quite late, but Neil Robertson absolutely delighted. That 147 takes him into a 3-1 lead.
Just delighted for everyone watching at home, and the people in the arena could experience that.
It's tough now though, striking down. Oh, well played.
One.
Very good shot.
I nervous when I think seven late or 8 late already. That's time I'm really nervous.
Well, he's striking low, so he's stunning it in. Well, used all the pocket, but it's in. With no thoughts or anything 72. Now, but a maximum.
I try to put myself like I can do it. That's why I can control the game.
Oh, this is a tester. Needs this cue action to help him out here. Oh, what a wonderful shot. Could not have played that better. Fantastic shot from Noppen Sangha. He must have been feeling the pressure of that one.
88.
Surely he can get through to this red.
$89.
Nicely on the black this time. Well, I say that maybe is a little bit straight, but the advantage he's got, those two reds in the middle of the table are both available into the right middle. So he could screw back to the side cushion if he should so wish. And be on one of those reds, one of the 3 reds. It's all about holding your nerve now. Red and a black for the century, but
96.
He's got bigger things in mind. What a start to this match.
shot there from an opponent pace. I'm sure the nerves will be increasing now with every shot that he plays. Don't be short on the red. Just about run far enough, he's okay. Needs a good angle on the last red. It's a corner or middle. Now decision time. Where does he want to play this final red?
This will mean so much to him, and Mark will be rooting for him. Decided to play through in the middle, and he's absolutely perfect.
112.
Now, good angle on the black needed.
Would have liked another 3 or 4 inches more pace in that cue ball there. At least he won't have to worry about accidentally snooking himself on the yellow with the blue. He'll have to probably stun this black in, take the cue ball in and out of bulk, pass the green for the yellow into its own pocket maybe. Different ways of playing this.
Yeah, I think that's why he'll have to play. It'll help that the brown's not on its spot, but he's got to pot the black. Well, he's tried to hold it, in goes the black, and he's held it absolutely perfect. That was a wonderful shot when you consider the pressure he's under to play it as delicately as that. Come on, son, you can do this.
Wow, how on earth did he manage to hold that cue ball? Great shot. Oh, I'm getting nervous for him. And that will do beautifully for the green. 3/4 ball, just had to roll it in. Oh, he must be feeling the nerves. Every pressure, every shot is an ordeal. Never made a maximum in competitive professional play. Here's his golden opportunity to do that.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier on that the pink wasn't on its spot. It does help now. As long as he gets straightish on the blue, he'll have nothing to do to get position on the pink. Another
puff of the cheeks. Delicate, soft stun to hold for the pink. Needs an angle on it. He's got one. This is perfect. Top spin off the side cushion should give him perfect position on this final black. Chose to stun down instead. Wants this to run. Keep going. Oh, he'd love this to be straight. Take your time. Strike through the ball. Oh, I hope he pots this. It's there, it's there. Fantastic achievement from Thailand's Nothon Sengham.
I practice a lot. In practice, I do more than 20 times in my practice, but I never do in the match before. Everywhere in the world, I never do before. This is the first time for me, and also this is on the TV live, so very pleasure. But I can't control on my hand. My hand gonna change like that, but I can control anything. I'm very happy today.
Certainly controlled it. Special moment for Nothon Sengham and for Neil Robertson, who you saw before that. He's actually got 4 career maximums now at the Australian. Darren Morgan, did you ever get a 147?
I've had about 90 in practice. My highest in a match was at the World Championship, funny enough. I had a 145. But I've missed the green 3 times on 122 for it to do it. Once was televised and the other 2 then were in matches. But it's the infamous green with me. I keep missing the green.
We get stuck on the green.
Yeah, I wish I could play for a different colour, but unfortunately it's in the sequence.
90 in practice and plenty in your dreams as well. The quiz question there was, what's the highest break you can get in snooker? Most people would say 147. Technically, you can get 155.
You can get a 155. I'm not sure if anybody has ever done. The highest I ever had a possibility of having a chance against, I had a 138 and Mr. Pink off the spot for a 151, and at that moment in time no one had ever hit a 150 plus. You know, I don't know what the record is now, but that was a bit disappointing to say the least.
148 in competition, apparently, is the biggest that we've seen. Anyway, if Neil Robertson goes on to win this tournament, well, that 147 will be a footnote in a sense, but what a footnote. He's in action this evening in our second semi-final against Hossan Vafai, who's never made it into a major final before. It's the Australian against the Iranian. But the game we're watching at the moment, Stuart Bingham leading Joe O'Connor 3-1, and we did ponder whether he would be up here during the interval for a bit of a practice, and indeed he was, Darren. Just having a bit of a knock here, as we can see, just to settle the nerves down. And you had a chat with him as well, didn't you? Yeah, I just went over. Because obviously Willie had been appertaining with the table, was playing so different, and he did say to me, he did say, look, the table is playing slightly different to what it was yesterday, but he said, I just need a real good chance in amongst the balls. He lost a little bit of confidence after when he potted the black in that, I think it was the third frame, and didn't get on the red tidy, and he's not had a look in since. He just wants a good chance to settle down. I just said, just enjoy it, relax and enjoy it, and just let your arm go and just let it happen. Well, we didn't see Bingham up here for a practice. I guess you'd better go and have a quick word with him, hadn't you, in the interests of objectivity. Well, I think, I think after knocking 200s on the trot, I think he's enjoying his cup of tea, or he's enjoyed it now. He's had it, obviously, but... he didn't feel the need to come up and have a bit of a practice, Stuart Bingham. But as you said, towards the end of that first session there, he played some great stuff. Well, you know, after he missed, when he missed the black off the spot and smashed him everywhere, you could see him, he was mumbling to himself in the chair. He was disgusted with himself, and he will not have believed that Joe O'Connor could only make 8 from that opportunity. And from there on, he's played really perfect snooker. You know, he's had 2 centuries. You can't ask for no more than that. 2 centuries this afternoon for Stuart Bingham, 8 across the week. He has played some exquisite snooker at times, and he's got that 2-frame lead over Joe O'Connor as they head into the second session here in the semi-final in Cardiff. Let's hand you back to Willie Thorne and Terry Griffith.
Stuart Bingham to break.
Thank you, Ian. Interesting to see how this second session happens for Joe O'Connor. He'd have had a little word with himself in the dressing room, I'm sure, thinking, well, you know, I could be 3-1 in front. I know that sounds silly when you see the opponent had made 2 centuries, but both those previous 2 frames, Joe was in first.
It's a good start for O'Connor. If 3-1 down in the first rounds, it would be difficult to win, but a lot of frames to go here. First the 6 gets into tomorrow's final. Not as played, too thin. As it turns out, didn't come out too bad, and the cue ball caught the corner pocket and it's gone on the cushion. I think Stuart can see the red on the extreme right of the table, but A tough shot that. Off the cushion, over distance. Bit risky. Well, the reds are spread about there, but on the right-hand side of the table, more or less. When they pack like that, not easy to make a break. It's hard to know because the black's gone safe.
Once again too thick on the safety. This red's cuttable. Obviously if he plays the cut he'll be currying into the four reds to the right of the pink, which could be okay because he could well end up on the pink or black if he plays it slow. Depends what pace he plays the cue ball here and playing the cut. Could do with a 4-ball kiss on one of those four reds. Oh, he's played it hard, hence it pushed into the ball.
One. Six. Seven.
Ideally like to get rid of the red that's nearest the black spot, so when he pots the black it'll be clear in both pockets. And it's definitely worth the risk here, dropping on the black rather than playing for the pink. Mind you, if the pink goes on the black spot, it doesn't matter. You work around there.
13.
Take a few pinks now. He needs a 50 or 60 break just to make himself feel a little confident, or a little more
14.
confident, because that's what he's lacking at the moment.
20. $21.
Oh, that's not going to make him
corner
feel
21.
confident, is he? Another easy shot missed. Once again, every shot that's been missed has been missed thick, which means that they've put a little bit of unwanted on it. It's pushing in. Now, it sounds a bit technical for those who are not regular players of snooker, but that's what's happening at the moment. And that's thick as well. He feels he'll have a better control with the cue ball using an extension rather than the rest. A little bit careful with the black here. It's going to come very close to his waistcoat.
One.
Alan Joe, just take your time here. Should be 3-2.
Five. Six. Eight.
Well, it was worth the risk playing the shot he did, but as you can see, it's not worked out nicely. Purposely played into the bunch there, knowing he's bound to be on the pink, or he thought he was bound to be on the pink, but as you can see, he's partially snookered. So into break, and they'll be very pleased, Stuart Bingham, to see that he's not out of this frame yet after 2 chances from Joe.
Joe O'Connor, 9.
Well, there is a long red here for Stuart Bingham. Long pot success hasn't been that good. Oh, it has too, sorry. Is it the safety I was looking at? He's potted 6 long pots out of 7. 86%. Little bit tricky this one. I think the natural angle would take you the cue ball into the 3 reds there. You have to put a touch of side on. No good.
1.
Didn't want to go down that far. Oh, it's well played. That looks easy enough, but it's not. Sometimes you drop a bit short and look a mug, and sometimes you do too hard and still look a mug. You see these reds here now. The 2 reds near the black, of course, are a big target, and I'm not quite sure if any of these reds, the red doesn't go past the pink by the look of it. Into that left corner. So all I could do is go off the top cushion. He's going for the 1 on the black cushion. No, he's not. He's going round 3 or 4 cushions here anyway. Nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near it.
Foul. And a miss.
No.
Stuart Bingham 4.
If he's had a look, perhaps he knows that the reds are not available, but we'll soon find out. The red goes there past the pink. It's a bit tight. Have to squeeze it in. Can't hit it at pace. There's not a lot of room there, you know. You have to. What they do there is they try not to hit the pink, and that's the wrong thing. But another chance for Joe.
Sure. Seven. Eight.
Once again, playing with that little bit of left hand side, pushed in, hit them thick. They'd be used to it by now, but obviously it's still not settled, this table yet. The table lights and the heat should get it dried out for the night session. It'll be a different table tonight, but I promise you that.
One.
play that well. Trying to lift the butt up to try and get some spin on and get down towards these reds. It's a good thought, that. That'll lift him a little bit. And the extension on the rest. Beyond the pink, if he pots the red. Thick. They're all thick.
Joe O'Connor 3.
Every time they're missing the ball throwing thick. I can't believe these boys of this standard, you know, haven't changed the cue ball to see if that helps, because they didn't do that in the interval. Anyway, Joe doesn't know what's going on there, I don't think. He's having a hard old time.
Okay. 1.
Looks like he can only gain the 7 points here. It's going to be impossible to get onto a red from this position.
Eight. Stuart Bingham 8.
I'm not sure if Joe can get between the pink and the black there, or past the green to get the 2 reds, but it looks as if he's going off the side cushion. Just play it quite gentle, not to dislodge the reds too far. Can't see the reds now. Here it comes. Looks good. Couldn't have done better.
What Stuart can do with this safety shot, though, is bring the 2 reds into play, or certainly one of them, or split them up. So should he get a chance, there's a chance of a clearance. He's playing it very thin. You'd think he'd be better off kind of splitting those 2 reds up if he can guarantee getting the good cue ball. If he can't, he will have to play a thin one. Yeah, he's trying to split them up now. What's the side against the nappy? It's playing with left-hand side, so you might see it curled a little bit. That's kept pretty straight, that one, but he's played a good shot. He's covered the loose red. And now, should Joe leave Stuart in, there is a chance of a clearance. in playing this safety shot. If he plays the one on the cushion, all reds will be in open play. It's a little bit risky trying the one on the cushion thin. That's why he's taking an alternative. With a cross double, white up and down in behind the yellow. Not too bad.
Joe hits this right, he'll put one of those reds back on the bar cushion, on the black cushion, sorry, not the bar cushion. And it's a bit thin. He's got a good white though. I think the long pot is on for Stuart, but these shots haven't been going in from either player during this match.
Yes, as you can see from the picture we're going to show you now, this red's not available. Not straightforward to get safe here either. There's no way back into balk unless he swerves it. Well, he feels he can hit the very thin edge of this red in the middle of the table there. He could. That's as good as anything from where he was. Okay, he's left a possible long pot on, but not easy.
He almost cannoned into the blue full ball there. It would have been a disaster. It's tense out at the moment. Had a few breaks with Stuart Bingham, obviously. 2 centuries in the first session, but not too much happening here. 25 minutes they've been playing. Oh, great shot. That's the best shot he's played in the match so far. And was brave to take it on. He's on the right in the middle.
Seven.
So that could and should be frame ball. He's done what he had to do, come out at this second session and take the opening frame. Whatever you do, make sure you pot the blue to make it virtually impossible for Stuart to pinch the frame. Well done. Don't do anything silly with the red and Stuart won't come back to the table. Just make sure of the red.
13. 14.
And it'll be a very relieved Joe O'Connor getting down to play this pink now.
$20. 22.
Well, that won't worry Joe. He's won the frame without making any sizable break, but that's excellent from Joe O'Connor. He's got himself back into this match now, but still trails by 3 frames to 2.
Yes, another big one, wasn't it? 28 minutes, that frame, and again, bit of good, bit of bad, bit of ugly. Let's focus on the good first of all, and what Terry described as the best shot from O'Connor so far in this game. It was a real cracker, this one.
Yes, he was left this long red, you know, and with the way he'd played, this could have gone so bad and so wrong, but he timed it to absolute perfection. And as Terry said, it was a brave shot as well, because, you know, everything was in potable positions. If it doesn't go in, he could have had that frame pinched off him, but as it happens, it went in, and he'd be very relieved. Settle him down maybe now.
We talk about the good there. There were some bad shots and there were some ugly grimaces, should we put it that way? And we've rounded up a few of them because, again, they're looking at the table, Darren, aren't they? And you know, they're looking up above.
Yeah,
they are themselves.
They are, but you know, I know they're going on with the table, but you know, the table's been there all week. Okay, it's got a new cloth on there. But, you know, that there, it doesn't matter what the table was like then. There was no excuse for that pink there then, and that's why he wanted to punch the table. He just tightened up a little bit and twitched a little bit on it. He's under a lot of pressure. This is a big occasion for Joe O'Connor.
Yeah, he put his palm down on the table there, didn't he, just to sort of say, well, there's something not right with this table. We've got another long pot we can show you as well, I think. We haven't got it at the moment, but in any case, you said you thought it was important that that he took this frame after the interval and got in 3-1 down. It was important.
Look, he needed to win that game. You know, 3-2 to 4-1 is a huge difference, you know. That frame was very similar to the first two frames. Same sort of time frame. The others took 20 minutes plus, the same as that one there. And, you know, 4-1 behind, no way back for him. 3-2, you know, them couple of good shots he played at the end there. He potted the long red, then he potted the little half ball blue down to the red, and then a good red across Cush. So he'll settle with that.
Yes, he will. 3-2 then the score, so game on once again. In terms of, you know, we talked about the fact that we have these surprise quarter-finalists, you know, Joe O'Connor, Hossan Vafai in the last four. We wouldn't have expected that at the start of the week, but, I mean, somebody tweeted in to say that's why we love the 1-2-8 format, because you always, you know, the big field, you can always get surprises, especially when it's best. You know.
Absolutely, and I think with this 1-2-8 format and the best of sevens, you're going to get a lot more tournaments. It's going to land up with a couple of the youngsters and more of the unknown players going through to the final stages, and that can only be a good thing for the game of snooker.
Stuart Bingham coming back into the arena. Where is he at the moment, form-wise? I mean, a few years ago, world champion, 2015, Welsh champion 2 years ago.
Well, I think until this match, this week, his form has been unbelievably strong. You know, he's been knocking centuries in left, right and centre. And take the two frames out where he's had two centuries today, by his standards, he would say he's played quite poorly, other than the two centuries he's hit.
Well, he's won the English Open as well this season as well, of course, semi-finals of the UK. Let's go back in then. He's got that slender one-frame lead now, Bingham, 3-2.
Oh, he's got that too thick now, and I'm not sure if Stuart can get past the green for the one in the centre pocket. That always brings the red up towards the baulk line when you hit the ball too thick. He can't get through. Tight.
1.
The players hate doing that, a bad break off, and somebody knocks the ball in, does a break, and or even if they don't do a break.
Six.
An early chance here for Stuart Bingham.
7.
No, he's having a look down. That means it's
14.
a bit tight there. He may have to put a touch aside on it to try and throw it. It looks as if that other red's in the way from here. Of course, he's got the best view of that. Yeah, just about.
15.
Be interesting to see whether Stuart can play this slow enough to miss the kiss on the first red directly above the black and just catch the outside of the pack. If this white is playing light, it might screw past the pack here. Oh, he's decided to play the red into the bunch. It's not too bad, that. He's got one in the middle, sorry, into the corner. Play up for blue or pink. Plays that shot very well, doesn't it? Keeping the white in open play
22.
there. Played the stun up into the pack.
You know, one of the things that happens a lot with that type of shot is if the red hits and comes back towards the black and covers the black, then it knocks it in the... Nothing on then.
23.
Now then, he's got a good angle there, by the look of it. Get back down to these reds. Not a huge amount of choice there. Few into the left corner.
$29. $30.
This pack of reds are not situated great at the moment. Everything's covering one another. They're one at the back of the pack pots. He'd like to finish on it slightly low, so he brings another couple of reds into play. Should be able to push through this red and cannon into the other one, moving out of the way.
37.
Remember, this has all come off Joe O'Connor's break-off shot, which was very poor. He'd been delighted to have got within one frame, and then all of a sudden played a bad break-off.
38.
Got the reds nice now, though.
$45. $46.
Just looking at whether it's value playing into the pink here. Because he'd leave a choice of two reds and he'd free the pink and red. Doesn't have to play that shot, but that looks to be the best choice at first glance. That's what he's played. Now that one shot should be a frame winner. That's what it's all about, you know, looking at the situation, thinking, well, if I bring another colour into play, am I going to get bound to get on two reds? Played the shot on the red nicely, and now that's a frame winner, or should be.
54.
He's very good in those cannons, Stuart.
61.
His stun play is excellent. It's one of the main reasons why, well, of course, on his pot in that he makes big breaks very often. He's making things very easy for himself now. He's not far away from the object ball, guaranteeing to be on another red. Once again, what is it there? About 6 inches from the white to the red.
68.
I think I could have potted that.
69.
Well, I wouldn't have gone for it. I'd have played a safety anyway.
Excellent opportunity now for Stuart to make his third century, and And the way he's played, you think, how on earth is he made 3 centuries? But that's the class of this young man. As we've mentioned many times, excellent break builder, one of the best break builders in the game.
75.
And this is the art, just playing the position. He likes to play the pink a lot of the time, Stuart. You don't have to do any work when you're just playing around the pink, just a series of little stun shots now. The white shouldn't go in and out of balk at all in the rest of this break.
$82.
Possible 1-4-1 on should he take it with blacks.
83.
It's been amazing, this tournament of breaks. We've had 2 147s, 3 breaks of 140, 2 of 139, a chance here of another break of 141. The break building has just been amazing.
A touch there, just bringing that red off the cushion.
91.
Once again, a low degree of difficulty with this positioning here.
$97. 98.
Unbelievable. You've got to look at this and see how bad they were in the first 2 frames. Stewart has struggled and so has Joe. But Stewart has just put himself together. Okay, he hasn't had the big 100, but that's enough. He's now made 397 centuries. And more importantly, he's now 4-2 in front, first to 6th.
Yes, 9th 100 plus of the week for Stuart Bingham, you know, going very well. Possibly just 2 more frames, and it will be the end of this first semi-final. It is like there are 2 Stuart Binghams out there. Perhaps the interesting thing, Darren, is that Bingham is going through the gears. He's able to find a bit more and to reach to a high level, whereas O'Connor seems a little bit one-dimensional at the moment, just a bit predictable in his play.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'd agree with one-dimensional. I think Joe Connor's just been struggling to score when he's got in today, and the nerves at the minute have got the better of him. But Stuart Bingham, he's just a scoring animal, you know. But, I mean, Joe O'Connor's got right back in this match at 3-2, and then he breaks off. I think we're going to see the break off now. And the one thing you cannot do is be short with a cue ball. He's just caught that pack of reds way too thick. Red's come up the other end of the table. He's left a path to the side of the green, and he hasn't had another shot. Now all of a sudden he's 2 frames behind again. You just cannot do that at this level.
So what does he need to do now? I mean, we're 6 frames into frame number 7. If Bingham takes this one, it's probably game over, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's an uphill task now as it is 4-2 behind, but from 5-2 you would say he's always got a slight chance. But the thing is with Stuart Bingham, if he gets in amongst the balls, he is a scoring animal. He's always going to score, you know, and that's the difference at the moment with Joe Connor. He has had chances. He has just really struggled to score in this match. Previous match, yesterday, he scored every time he got in with his visits.
OK. Well, just a reminder that our second semi-final comes up tonight at 7 o'clock. Neil Robertson, the Australian, against Hossan Vafai from Iran. 7 o'clock, we're on air. Back with you. And then tomorrow, the big one, the final 2 sessions, as with today, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And don't forget, there's live football on BBC Wales television tomorrow. BBC One Wales at 4 o'clock. Swansea City against Brentford. The Swans looking to make it through to the quarter-finals of this year's competition. So you can squeeze that in between the 2 sessions of tomorrow's snooker final. Stuart Bingham then, 2 frames away from a place in that final.
Anybody that's been watching this match from the start will think how amazing it's been, having a million balls have been missed in the 6 frames, but 3 centuries. Seems very strange, isn't it, the way the balls have been, all the balls have been missed. But Joe O'Connor will have to take something from this match, and obviously he's not out of it yet. But if he watches this match back on tape, should he go on to lose it, he'll realise he's had chances virtually in every frame, apart from the last one where he broke off Paulie and Stuart. Stuart cleared from the break-off. But the other frames where Stuart's made a century, he was in first on both occasions.
Oh, it's a good long part, that. Once again, it's not about it. He's a little fraction short there for the red that he was trying to get on, but that's been happening quite a lot with these cushions. But the red in the corner near to the white is okay, unless he wants to try and pot the other red and smash the pack open. Oh, that's no good.
9.
Didn't quite catch it right. The red's gone in, but I'm not sure if this black is dead straight, but even if it isn't, it's tough to get on. Another red. Oh, it's a good shot. Very, very good shot. Anybody that plays snooker will know on the cushion like that and having put topspin and power to get around
16.
for a red, there's a great chance of you missing the pot.
Yes, even though he's made 3 centuries, that was the best pot he's played in the match, because that was pressure on that.
17.
He doesn't like this. He's gone a little bit too far with the blue to get his intended position. Can obviously play a bar colour, but Stuart normally plays into the pack of reds, even if it's a gentle type of shot, just to move a few about. Oh, that worked out well. Good shot, that. Could have gone wrong, but hit it perfect.
Yes, the key thing there was missing the pink, because the pink was away from the pack, so the pink wasn't going to bring reds into play. So the key thing playing that shot was to miss the cannon on the pink.
23.
And he played it at a pace where he was pushing the red towards the corner. So as we've said before, he's an excellent break builder. Sees every situation. And now that one shot has given him a wonderful chance again for another high score. How many will he get this time?
30. 31.
I remember a match many years ago, Terry, when Stephen Hendry beat Danny Fowler. He beat him 5-4. And he made 3 centuries and 80. And I said on commentary, Stephen Hendry played terrible apart from the 3 centuries and 80. And Stephen went mad. But then when he watched it back, he said, you know, it's a very similar to here. You know, Stuart's not played well, but he's already made 3 centuries in this break and counting. So it's not all about the frames you win, it's the frames you lose. And as we've seen already, Stuart's missed a lot of balls.
Sport at the highest level is about mistakes. No mistakes and you will win. You don't have to be great, you don't have to play century breaks. If you pot all the balls that are easy and play good safety, you're always going to be in a match. And both players early on didn't do that, and obviously the better recoveries come from Bingham, because he's, you know, a very experienced player and he won the championships here.
39.
Won the English Open at the start of the season. World champion. I think he's won a few more as well.
Yes, he won 5 ranking titles and won 4 minor ranking titles on the Asian Tour. There's a season campaigner, season winner. And as we already discussed, one of the game's great break builders.
If you ask him about anything, Stuart, in his game, what's happened over the years, he'll tell you everything. He's got a wonderful memory of games where he played when he was an amateur player
43.
and everything. He loves it all. He's very, 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 very classy guy in that way. He's just a person that loves the game of snooker, win or lose.
Yes, his class is beginning to tell now in this
50.
match. Joe O'Connor played a poor safety shot to let him in for the initial red. Left the white somewhere near the baulk line. Shouldn't be down on himself though, that young man. What a tournament he's had. He's still not out of this match yet, but it's looking very tricky for him now. Should he go 5-2 behind?
51.
Red and black, no
58.
problem, but the next red is. So anything but straight on the next black. He may even play a little stun into the red and play the pink in the middle. No, played for the black. As long as he's not straight, the break can continue.
59.
If he's straight, it could be under break. Oh, the red obviously pots at the top of the little pyramid there. This
66.
is virtually frame ball. This will be 67 in front with 67 remaining. So he's beginning to dominate now, is Stuart.
67.
Just coming around to have a look if the middle red of those 5 will pot into the middle pocket. If it does, he can score on and off the cushion and get on that red through the gap of the 2 reds. Thing is, if he plays it plain ball, he'll be kissing the reds thin, which means the white will go towards the top right-hand corner, which is no good. So how's he going to put a red on here? He must have found something somewhere. Is it a plan? It's risky, but the fact that Joe O'Connor needs a snooker, it's worth taking the risk to try and make another century. Oh, very well done indeed.
74.
Excellent. Superb.
$81. 82. 89. 90.
I'm sure when this crowd watched the opening 2 frames, they wouldn't have thought they were going to be in for a break building masterclass. That's what
95.
they're getting now. Got to be honest,
96.
the first 2 frames were horrific. Quite amazing. quite amazing to have 4 centuries in a best of 11 match is remarkable. This time it could be a big one.
104. $111. 113. 116. 120.
He's got a chance of beating his highest break of the tournament so far. Played a bit of an exhibition shot there, which has stopped him getting the highest break.
125.
Got to play around the houses with this pink. Well, once again, not a total clearance from Stuart Bingham, but an excellent contribution. His 4th century of the match. Just 1 frame away from victory now. He leads 5-2.
Yeah, 398 career centuries now for Stuart Bingham. Excellent stuff from him, but we may have lots of kind things to say about him, but don't take our word for it. This is how Bingham's fellow professionals regard his attributes as a player.
Competitive. Stuart always looks like when he's playing, even when he's not confident, he looks like he's up for it and he's ready for the challenge.
Improved since his rise to obviously winning the World Championship. He's gone on to win many titles, so he's a very improved player.
Hungry. Stuart Bingham's hungry because he kind of came through later on in his career to win the World Championships, and he kind of never gave in, and a lot of people could have, and he managed to stick with it and prove himself to be a top player.
Lucky. I think everyone will agree, goes without saying, Stuart is known as ball run for a reason.
Ryan Day there, maybe taking the mickey slightly, but everyone needs a bit of luck now and then. And hungry, another word that was used there. What words would you use, Darren Morgan, for Stuart Bingham?
You know, he's an all-round professional, isn't he? You know, he just loves the game. He eats, breathes and sleeps snooker. You know, he loves the travelling. He loves everything to do with being a professional. And it shows in his game, you know, he enjoys it. We've had loads of chats over the last week, and he just can't get enough of it.
Yes, he's got a humble, modest character as well with it, isn't he, Bingham? But let's look at that frame. And again, you know, another century. You can't argue with that. We're going to look at a plant as well. Really good shot here. This was exquisite stuff.
It was, because obviously this plant was nowhere near on. You know, he's had to make this, and he's made it look very easy. But that was a real tricky shot, for him to carry on and make another century there. But when you think of the first 2 frames, and everybody's saying, oh, is there something up with this table and what have you? And all of a sudden now he's made 4 centuries. So that answers any questions. There's nothing wrong with the table.
You're not having this table thing at all. You know, 107, 100, 104 and 125 for Stuart Bingham. It does seem incredible that we've been criticising him at the start of the match when the snooker wasn't top-notch. But now Stuart Bingham, well, 1 frame away from a place in the 2019 Welsh Open final. But this is Joe O'Connor to break.
And an early long pot chance for Stuart Bingham. That's the 8th frame. Unlucky. Really struck that 2 ball well. Tried to bring the black into play, but okay, he still plays safety now. He's not going to do 100 this time unless he knocks the blue in.
Bramble. Stuart Bingham 1.
And Joe O'Connor hasn't potted the ball for 22 minutes. That's a long, long time to be sitting out in the chair and watching your opponent knocking the balls in. It's got to stay strong. There's still a game on.
Yes, the key thing about this game, the positive Stuart can take from this, is obviously his long game has been superb. 9 out of 10 long pots he's made. And of course, when you pot in the long ones, you're creating chances. Definitely half a length slower this table at the moment than it has been.
Looks like a good line. Can't hit the reds on the left-hand side, extreme left. So Bingham may be taking this red on. Has he got an option here? A safety option? I don't think so. Yes, 5-2 behind Joe O'Connor, but I always tell my players that don't think you're going to lose until you've lost. And don't think you're going to win until you win.
One. Eight.
Got into the cue ball far too much there.
9.
Decision time. Do I go attacking? That's what he's doing. Taking the black on. This could be his last shot. This needs to go in. What a shame. What a shame. That could have been his last shot in this Welsh Open Championship.
I think it's the right shot. He hasn't been in the game at all, so he's Got to push on a little bit, and if that black would have gone in, of course, there's a good chance of him making a good break, and you never know what's going to happen from there. Just got too much backspin on when he played the red with the rest.
One.
So they may as well just give Stuart Bingham a century break now. We can go and have a cup of tea, will he? Won't make a century. I bet he won't make 13 now. Watch this now.
Eight.
He didn't play there. Didn't want to get by there. It's a bit awkward now. I don't know if the green goes, the brick of the green, the pink, goes into the right corner pocket. It does, and he's perfectly on it now. Amazing when there's so many reds available, sometimes just land on top of one of them and you're sort of bridging over and you miss it.
Very quickly, after this next blue, he'll be playing
16
around the black spot area, and once he gets rid of the red to the extreme left of the black, that'll be a frame and match winning opportunity. Surely we couldn't have 5 centuries in this match, could we?
$21.
And that was the key red, moving that red out of the way, making the black available into both corners easily. Stuart knows now this is the chance to close the match out. I'm not sure what the records are, but I don't think anybody's made
29.
5 centuries in a best of 11. I could be wrong.
30. $37. 38. 45. 46.
'No need to have played the cannon there, but he can still go out for the blue.
53.
And the red is knocked into the other red. That red will be available when the red gets moved off the pink spot. Getting very close to the winning line now.
54.
This puts him 51 in front, with 59 on the table. A very easy red to come. So after the next shot, the snooker is required.
59.
He needs to be proud, that young man, Joe O'Connor. He's beat 3 champions in this tournament. Hasn't played today, but don't let that
60.
Take away anything from what that young man's done in this tournament so far. He'll learn from the experience. He'll improve from the experience. but Stuart Bingham in the break building department has been unbelievable.
$67.
Now the match is over. Wouldn't it be great if Stuart Bingham could make... Oh, what a shame. No century this time, but the standard of Stuart Bingham has been quite awesome. I just wonder whether Joe's going to come back to the table. He decided to do that. You can see how disappointed Stuart is there. He had a great chance to make another century. Well, the crowd were applauding. I don't think Joe played a pot that. I think he was playing a safety shot, because the cue ball, as you can see, is not in a position. He has to play the pink. Win or lose, it's got to go in. So red, black, and then get the snooker in behind the pink.
7. Eight.
I'm quite sure if that red is too close to the pink. You pot this black and try and get a very tight snooker behind the pink. Touching ball would be good. Just a matter of how far he could knock the red up the table and make it more difficult for Stuart Bingham, because
15.
Few snookers may come, free balls and all that type of thing. I'm glad Joe's come back to the table. There's some people who would have walked away and said thank you very much, but he's given it a go, and that's a good sign.
Joe O'Connor 15.
Not quite. If it had been touching on that pink, this would have been a very, very difficult red to hit. It's not too bad off one cushion, you should think. It's 44 behind, of course. 35 remaining on the table. So we need 3-4 point snookers to have a chance. But why not? You've seen it happen before. I didn't get through the gap between yellow and blue by the look of it. What is unfortunate for Joe. They pot the red. Now then, can he stand behind the pink or black? Put the red up the table. Good angle, but hit it too hard. These days the top players tend to hit most of the snookers they get onto them. Unless they're very difficult, you've got to go 4 or 5 cushions or something. The standard of safety play as well as break building in this game has gone up, I don't know, 100% since our day, Willie. It's a different class now.
Yeah, they're playing more matches, aren't they? Which obviously makes it a little bit easier, but you've got to take your hat off to the break building prowess of all these players now. We've already discussed the fact of the breaks we've had in this tournament: 2-1-4-7s, 3-1-40s, 2-1-3-9s. Excellent snooker there. Sometimes you need a bit of good fortune. but he needs a bit more to get back into this Roman match. Highly unlikely, but he's still battling.
Doesn't want to hit too hard here, perhaps, because if he misses, he could leave a free ball. Would be possibly 8 points then for Joe. Oh. No, it wasn't a difficult one.
What a big target to get red in behind the brown spot and white in behind the black. Not quite enough. There's a gap. As JV says, there's always a gap.
Oh, that's by the third time now. He's always just almost got a really good snooker. Stuart Bingham to get out, but should knock this wrong. Red in now. No. That could have been the end of it, but it isn't. Amazing, isn't it? He put the effort in the pot, that Stuart, but I don't know. That's all he does is 100 breaks.
Yes, it seems if he didn't make 100, didn't win the frame. No, has he found the gap again? He has, yes, just slightly overhit that. Purposely trying to make Joe pot the red, which means there'd be no chance of a free ball. I don't think he's got any option here but to play red and black. He's trying to keep it out. Keep it out he has, but he's gone right over the middle. The handshake comes from Joe O'Connor. Every congratulations to Joe for his remarkable part in this tournament. Stuart Bingham, quite clearly too strong. His break building this afternoon has been superb. A little bit to work on in the final, but Stuart Bingham's into that final of the Welsh Open. He wins by 6 frames to 2.
Yeah, credit to Joe for trying to keep his hopes alive as long as he possibly could, but it is Stuart Bingham, that man there, who goes into his third Welsh Open final. Just 2 years after winning the title, he'll face either Neil Robertson or Hossan Vafai, who meet tonight. And as for O'Connor, the giant killing spree is over. Kyron Wilson, Ding Junhui and John Higgins, his victims en route to the semis, but Bingham proving an obstacle too great for him this afternoon. He'll be a happy man to have gone into the final with that run of centuries. 4 centuries, so very nearly 5, wasn't it, there in that final frame? And had he got that century, it would have been game over. But obviously O'Connor wanted to just give himself the best chance to keep it alive.
Yeah, well, you can't blame him. You know, you don't know when he's going to be in another semi-final. So the minute Stuart didn't make that 5th century, we were alluding, would it have been some kind of a record? He went back to his chair with a real wry smile on his face. How did I miss that? You know, but you know, Joe's had a great tournament. He can't be hard on himself. You know, he's beaten some great players along the way, and this was just one bridge too far for him.
What will he do? I mean, how will he reflect on it, and what will he think next time? I won't do this, or I won't do that. What were the mistakes you think he made today?
Well, you know, he'll probably be disappointed with the way he's played today, like all snooker players would be, you know. You're striving for excellence and perfection. But he's got to look at it. He's beaten some real big names, and he's proved he can get to the latter stages of a snooker event. This is his first real season, mind, in the pro ranks as an official professional. So, you know, this is something for him to really build on.
But what was the thing that made the difference? Because, you know, you think, well, he's beaten Ding Junhui, he's beaten Karen Wilson, he's beaten John Higgins, the defending champion yesterday. What was the thing today that do you think that made the difference where he couldn't get beyond Bingham?
Because if he'd won, he'd have been in his first professional final.
Just the pressure, the tension just got to him.
You know, you miss a couple of balls, it's very easy. It takes a long time to build confidence, and your confidence can be struck and taken away very, very quickly. He just missed a couple of balls in the first frame and then the second frame, and he just didn't really settle. They said it in the commentary. You know, before the interval, he did not settle, you know.
Well, he'll reflect on a marvellous week nonetheless, but Stuart Bingham is through to the final of this year's Welsh Open. Well done, sir. I mean, we were talking about it as it went on there. I mean, you've got 4 centuries in the last 6 frames of that match. And yet, you didn't look entirely happy out there.
I don't know what happened. I'm surprised I'm in 90% pot success. It was sort of, I don't know, it maybe took me a couple of frames to settle. But that's obviously what I've been doing all week. When I'm good, I'm good. But as sort of not being nasty, that's maybe probably the worst I've played all week. But as soon as I got in the balls, I felt really comfortable.
I actually said that. Look, they were saying in commentary, obviously because we've been in the studio, and they were saying about how different the table, and I said I don't think the table is that much different to what it's been all week. It's just the fact, a little bit nervy, butterflies at the start of the match. I said, and he's proved that with the way then you've had all the centuries, but Willie kept maintaining this table is completely different. And
yeah, they reclothed it obviously last night. They said they've got a new set of balls. The white played like it was polished, so it was very reactive. So if you got hold of the white a bit too much, you just lost control. So I think once I got round the balls, I was all right because it was a little stun sort of shot. But sort of summer long pots, I was hitting mostly thick because of the white was pushing.
So it wasn't so much the cloth, you don't think, as the cue ball?
Yeah. I'd just say, like, I did ask Martin Clark that if they got a sort of polished white, and they said no, it's just a new set of balls. So I think that threw both of us, to be fair. And obviously with Joe, he obviously didn't settle at all. And I suppose when the player you're playing makes 100 after 100, it's sort of a bit daunting.
Yeah. The opening frame, though, I mean, I don't think you settled either, really, did you? Because it wasn't an exhibition of great snooker, was it? To be fair, that opening frame.
It's say, like, all of a sudden you feel a bit embarrassed. Obviously, you're in the semi-final of a ranking event, and all of a sudden the balls start going a bit scrappy, and I think, like, I don't think any of the colours were on its spot, and it's thrown me because obviously all week it's been good standard sort of thing, and all of a sudden it just threw me, and it just maybe took me a while to get.
Putting the negatives aside, the cloth, the cue ball, the opening frame, let's forget about all that, and the positives. I mean, the centuries you've had this week, 10 centuries, nearly an 11th there in that final frame. So you're on to 398 career centuries. I mean, wow. Extraordinary stuff.
Yeah. Obviously Saints Clip coming here and beating Ali first match. It's gave me the confidence, and I've carried it through. And when you get used to the table, it's playing like a dream. And you say it's effortless going into the Reds.
We were saying in studio that perhaps you'd prefer to be playing a bigger name, one of the other bigger stars, than playing somebody you don't know so well, and you're expected to beat. Do you know what I mean? Is that true? Or?
Obviously, I've never played Joe before. I've obviously seen him on tour and have a little chat here and there. But obviously, I didn't know what his game was like, and it's a bit uneasy. Say we're in a semi-final. I'm sort of watching him how he plays, and I'm sort of losing my own concentration a bit. But
I said that at the start, man. I said this is an hard game for Stuart because he won't know much about Joe. If he's playing a big name, he knows exactly what he's going to get. But with this, he's on an eye into nothing, really, whereas Joe had everything to gain.
Yeah. Let's say I've been there. I've been on the other foot. And I've played in a semi-final where I shouldn't have won. Or I was second favourite. But it's obviously different pressures. But say I'm happy to be in another
You're
Welsh
happy,
final.
You're into the final, absolutely, and we'll see you tomorrow in the final of the Welsh Open. Well done, Stuart Bingham. Thank you very much for being with us. Neil Robertson takes on Hosson Vafai this evening to find out who plays Bingham tomorrow. We're going to hear from Robertson now, just on